define your success or someone else will in the world of sales. What in the world does that mean? I'm Scott Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Austin, Texas. That's right, I'm in Texas on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about goals and setting what you want from life. So, one of the biggest struggles that I see salespeople face is they don't really know what they want from life. They really don't have their own goals. So you know what that means is a manager or business owner comes in and says, hey, let's sit down and let's go over your goals and let's figure out what you want this year. And so a salesperson will go, I don't know what I want. I don't even know what I want for lunch. So the manager or the business owner sits down and says, well, what are we capable? What could you do? And the problem is when somebody else sets a goal for you, it's really tough for you to buy into it because like maybe you didn't have buy-in. And maybe you look around and you're like, that guy's got a really cool goal. That guy right over there, he's got a really cool goal. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy that guy's goal, or I'm going to copy that girl's goal because it sounds cool, right? It's like my goals may not even be anywhere near what your goals are. One of my goals is to live on the North Shore of Oahu for 6 months and watch big wave surfing for half the year. That is a fantastic goal for me, but like you may look at it and be like, that's stupid, right? And you may have this goal and you're like, I really want a crazy expensive watch. And I may look at it and go, hey, there was a point in my life where I wanted one of those, and then I realized I'm cool with a $300 Samsung Gear, right? I've got some really nice watches. But if you pick up what somebody else's goals are and you start deciding that guy or that girl's goals are what I want, and you really don't have buy-in, then what happens is you start freaking out. You're in your sales call and you're like, why am I not succeeding? I'm not reaching my goals. Well, you're not reaching your goals because they're not yours. They're somebody else's. Somebody else made that goal and you're like, well, this is kind of like a buffet. This is a buffet line. That guy wants a car, I want a car. Oh, that guy wants a watch, I want a watch. That guy wants to go live in Hawaii for 6 months, I want to go live in Hawaii for 6 months. Well, if you don't have buy-in from the goals from the people, from yourself, if it's somebody else's goal, why do you think that you're ever going to achieve it? It's not something that you want to do. It's not a thing that you want to go. Like, some people look at me and they're like, really? You want to spend 6 months out of the year watching big wave surfing? That sounds like it stinks. I'm like, well, you want a crazy watch? That sounds crazy, or a timepiece, whatever you want to call it. I look around and I see so many salespeople fall for this. And when I ride with them and have the conversation, I'm like, how are your goals going? They're like, not so good. Well, why not? I don't know. Well, tell me about them. And they tell me about their goals. I'm like, those are pretty fantastic goals. How many of them did you come up with? And like, what do you mean? I'm like, how many of them were yours or how many were there somebody else's? And usually what comes out at about 50% of people's goals are somebody else's. They belong to somebody else. They're somebody else's dream, right? So, you don't see me sneaking in the middle of the night, walking in and kicking down the door and stealing somebody's dream. It doesn't make sense. So what's going to happen is if you're doing this and you're going, hey, I want to adopt that person's goals. If it's something you really want to do, fantastic. That's cool. Congratulations. Go for it. You should. But if it's something where you're like, it sounds cool, but I don't even really know if I'd want that. Well, think about it. Is it something you'd want to do? Is it something that sounds interesting? Is it something that sounds cool? Is it something that's fantastic? Or is it something you're looking at, you're like, I think that I should adopt that belief because somebody else should. So, growing up, I'm a pretty big guy. Everybody thought like, hey, Scott, you should play football. I'm like, I really don't care for football. I played my freshman year. I hated it. I don't like it. I don't even watch it on TV. It's not even very interesting to me. And so people look around and they're like, but you should. Well, people tell me that I should all the time, and I don't want to. So, the same thing goes for you. There's going to be plenty of people who say, hey, look, you know what? Let me define your goals for you. Here's what they are. Here's what they should be. And, there are times where you work for a company and they have the capability of putting you up here with an income and you're down here. That may be a mismatch. You may be working for the wrong industry. And I know that sounds crazy, but I see salespeople run into this a lot. There's a lot of industries that I work in where guys can make mid six figures, $3, $4, $5, $600,000 a year. And then what it comes down to is some of the guys start out and they look at it like, I don't want to do what it has to take to have that type of income. I'm cool with, $200,000 and like having a life. So, I don't want to tell you what your goals should be, just like you shouldn't tell me what my goals should be unless you have some skin in the game or something. Like if I'm in a relationship with somebody and they're like, hey, Scott, here's what I think that our goals should be. Like I'm going to talk about it. Hey, let's talk about it, right? But I'm not going to let somebody define my goals and say, like, here's what you have to do. Because if you don't have buy-in from me, it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to tell you where this all falls apart. Let's say you work for a company and the minimum that you should be making is this much, and that's their bare minimum to be in the door. That's what you got to do. That's how much money you got to make. But I see salespeople go like, what's wrong with enough? I know a sales guy I was in a meeting one time, and the guys in the industry had the potential of making $200,000-$300,000 a year. And he looks at me like 100% serious and says, "Hey, Scott, I'm cool with making 80 grand a year. What's wrong with that?" I'm like, "What's wrong with that? You're going to run the amount of leads and make 160. That means you're going to waste half your leads." So just some things to think about. If you don't take the time to define your goals, somebody else is going to do it. And they may give you a goal that you don't want or you don't believe in. And then what happens is you go in your sales calls, you get all stressed out, you get worried, and like, well, why am I not getting anywhere in my goals? It's because you're trying to live somebody else's life. Right? That's kind of like me telling you have to wear aloha shirts everywhere that you go. You're like, I don't even like aloha shirts. The same thing happens with somebody setting the goals for you. You may not like what that goal is, so you might as well live your life by your design. Now, you've got one thing to do, just one thing. One thing. There's a subscribe button somewhere on the side right here, or down in the box below. Click on subscribe, and what will happen is every time I send out new content, you're going to get an update. You're going to find out, hey, Sylvan Bell sent out a new video. I should go watch it, which you should. So click that subscribe button. It's somewhere around here. Click subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Aloha.